Hello, literature lovers. This is a continuation of the series Tracing the Footsteps in African Literature. I will be sharing my thoughts and opinions on the fourth footstep, the Modernism period. Please listen till the end. You will definitely have food for thought. Let us salim. The fourth footstep that will usher us into today's postmodernism reality is the modern African literary period. This period became prevalent in the early 20th century, where there was a dramatic change of thought, bringing about a reform in all the spheres of life. Of course, with the aid of technology that sought to improve the environment. African literature at this moment in time was based on using rational and logical means to gain knowledge. The two main features of this period were individualism and absurdity, where in the former, writers believed that an individual is more interesting than society. The writers were more fascinated by how an individual adapted to the ever-changing world, whilst in the latter, many writers at this time believed that life was becoming a more absurd place every single day, noting the bustles and hustles of how life has become mysterious and lost in the daily rush of life. Taking a deeper view in the African context, the shades of colonialism was still somewhat unending, as most modern African writers focused their works on the healing and purging of their countries and families. Many writers, especially the modern African poets, not only explain how indigenous cultures were absorbed by Western standards, but also how limiting in vision their leaders have become. Some of the works during this period include Roman Egudu's Modern African Poetry and African Predicament, that highlights, open quote, intimate concerns of the African people in the African society, end quote. Secondly, Tanure Ojaide's Poetic imagination in Black Africa that unravels an individual's experiences as part of a shared culture, hence giving the poet an assumed responsibility of teaching and fighting verbally to save his people. The third one, Congolese Alain Mabanckou's memoir, The Lights of Pointe-Noire, a thoughtful meditation on homecoming that explores the paradoxes of a narrator torn between the present truthfully faced in his new life and the roots of his childhood. The fourth one, Zoe Wicomb's Playing in the Light, a celebrated novel that revolves around the main character named Marion Campbell, who must negotiate the complexities of the new world, which is the South African post-apartheid society with its bizarre history. And lastly is Marion Ben Jelloun's classic anti-racist book titled Racism Explained to My Daughter, written as a letter from the writer to the daughter that highlights quite a compelling dialogue in which he explains difficult concepts from ghettos and genocide to slavery and anti-Semitism. That's all I have for you today. Kindly subscribe and share this podcast with your family and friends. Thank you and see you next Saturday.